There's a silent ache many carry, a nagging sense that you're missing something, that the world and the people in it aren't quite what they seem. You watch conversations unfold, you listen to promises being made, yet a part of you knows there's a deeper current at play, something unseen, something unspoken. What if I told you that you already possess the tools to see this truth, not through magic, but through profound psychological insight? Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds of the last century, left us a roadmap. He understood that humans are complex tapestries of conscious and unconscious forces. He saw beyond the surface. He recognized the masks we wear. He heard the echoes of our hidden fears. This isn't about manipulation. It's about clarity. It's about compassion. It's about finally understanding why people do what they do. And in doing so, understanding yourself in ways you never thought possible. We will delve into 20 Jungian keys. Each one unlocks a different aspect of the human psyche. Each one will change how you see the world and how the world sees you. So, settle in. This is not a quick list. This is an immersion, a journey into the depths of what it means to be human. We begin with the most fundamental insight, the one that shapes all social interaction, the mask we present to the world. Number 1. See beyond the persona, the mask they wear for the world. Every morning we step into a role. We choose how to present ourselves. Carl Jung called this the persona. It's not a lie. It's a necessity. It's the face we show society. It's built from expectations, from learned behaviors. It keeps us safe. It helps us belong. Yet, it is rarely our true self. Imagine a quiet colleague, always agreeable, never challenging. That's a persona, a carefully constructed facade, designed to avoid conflict. Or consider the overly confident leader, boisterous, decisive. That too is a persona, crafted to project authority, to inspire trust, even if inner doubts rage. The persona is often a compromise. It negotiates between our inner nature and the demands of the outer world. When you watch someone, don't just see the role, see the effort behind it, the subtle tension, the practiced smile, the rigid posture. These are clues. They tell you the persona is at work. They hint at the person underneath. This isn't about being critical. It's about recognizing the psychological armor. It's about understanding their primary survival strategy. Because once you see the mask, you can begin to glimpse the true face beneath it. Number 2. Witness the shadow's projection. What they hate in others is often within. This is perhaps Jung's most chilling insight, and one of the most powerful. When someone intensely criticizes another, when they constantly point out flaws, especially moral flaws, look closer. Jung understood that we often project our shadows onto others. The shadow is the dark, repressed side of our personality, the parts we deem unacceptable, unworthy, or dangerous. We push these traits into our unconscious, but they don't disappear. Instead, they appear in the outside world. They show up in people we can't stand. Think of the person who relentlessly attacks perceived arrogance. They might be wrestling with their own hidden grandiosity or a profound insecurity. The one obsessed with others' dishonesty may be suppressing a truth they can't face. This isn't just a defense mechanism. It's an involuntary confession, a map to their inner world. When you witness strong judgment, pause and ask yourself, what part of themselves are they trying to disown? What unintegrated aspect of their psyche is screaming for recognition? This realization frees you from taking their criticisms personally. It allows you to see their pain, not just their anger. Number 3. Hear the unspoken language of complexes, silence and discomfort. Words can deceive. Silence rarely does. When a particular topic makes someone uncomfortable, when they become evasive, or their body language tenses, you're touching a complex. Jung believed that complexes are emotionally charged clusters of ideas, of memories, of images. They exist in our unconscious, and they influence our thoughts, our feelings, our behavior. They are like raw nerves. Touch them, and you get a reaction. A person might laugh nervously when asked about their past relationships, or quickly change the subject. When money comes up, these aren't just awkward moments. They are signals. They tell you where their complexes lie, where their emotional wounds are, where their history still controls them. Pay attention to the pauses, to the deflected gaze, to the sudden shift in tone. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of significant inner territory, territory that still holds power over them, territory that they might not even consciously understand. Number 4. Deconstruct the virtuous performance. Vanity as a cover for insecurity. Be wary of loud virtue, of excessive moralizing, the person who constantly broadcasts their purity, their righteousness. This isn't necessarily genuine goodness. Jung would see this as a potential overcompensation, a desperate attempt to prove something, not to the world, but to themselves. It's another aspect of the persona, inflated, overblown, designed to deflect attention from internal failings, from deep insecurity. When someone preaches endlessly, when they correct everyone's perceived moral slip-ups, ask yourself, what are they trying to cover? What fault within themselves are they trying to deny? Real integrity, real kindness, it doesn't need applause. It simply exists. It doesn't need to be shouted from the rooftops. So when you encounter this overt display of virtue, see it not as strength, but as a signal of an underlying fragility, of a hidden fear that their own goodness is not enough. Number 5. Uncover self-deception, the lies they tell themselves first. This is a profoundly human truth. We often assume people lie to us deliberately, to deceive, to manipulate, but Jung suggested something far more pervasive. People lie to themselves first, long before they lie to anyone else. They construct narratives about their past, about their capabilities, about their happiness. I'm fine. I'm over it. It doesn't bother me. These aren't always directed at you. They are deeply ingrained scripts, repeated so often, they become their own truth. This self-deception is not malicious. It's often a coping mechanism, a way to survive painful realities, to maintain a fragile sense of self. So when you notice inconsistencies, when someone's story doesn't quite add up, don't immediately label them a deceiver. Realize they are likely caught in their own web. They're struggling to reconcile their conscious image with their unconscious reality. This understanding allows for immense empathy. It reveals a person trying to protect their inner world, sometimes desperately. Number 6. Spot the compensatory superiority, hiding inner feelings of inadequacy. True confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to announce itself. It simply is. But observe the person who constantly reminds you of their achievements, their status, their intelligence, the one who needs to dominate every conversation, to be the smartest in the room. This, Jung would argue, is often a compensatory behavior, an over-identification with the persona, masking a profound sense of inferiority. Real confidence doesn't compete. It doesn't put others down. It doesn't need constant external validation. When someone needs to prove their superiority, it's a strong indicator that they harbor deep doubts about their own worth. They are fighting an inner battle, a battle against the feeling of not enough. The grander the display, the louder the boast, the more likely it is a cry for validation, a desperate attempt to silence the voice of their own inadequacy. Look beyond the crown. You might find a scared child beneath it. Number 7. Identify fear's unconscious grip, the unseen forces driving their actions. Why do people over-explain? Why do they avoid commitment? Why do they lash out in anger? Jung would say that most actions are not driven by pure desire or conscious intention alone. They are often driven by unconscious fear. Fear of abandonment, of rejection, of humiliation, of failure. These fears reside in the unconscious, often linked to powerful complexes, clusters of emotional energy that exert a gravitational pull on our behavior. When you want to truly read someone, stop focusing on what they say they want. Instead, ask yourself, what are they afraid of losing? What threat, known or unknown, is lurking beneath their actions? Is it the fear of not being loved, not being seen, not being powerful enough? This is where the truth lives, in the shadowy corners of their unconscious, guiding their choices, shaping their responses, without them even knowing it. Understanding this reveals the vulnerability, the humanity behind seemingly irrational behavior. Number 8. Understand criticism as a mirror, another form of projection. We spoke earlier about the shadow's projection. This point reinforces it, but with a specific focus on criticism. When someone consistently critiques others, especially on a specific trait, it's almost always a mirror. Jung believed that judgment is rarely about the other person. It's about the self. It's about disowning a part of ourselves that we find unacceptable. The man who mocks overly emotional people might be terrified of his own feelings. The woman who belittles others for their appearance might be engaged in a secret war with her own reflection. Pay attention to the content of their criticism. It's a tell. It reveals what they are struggling with internally, what they are trying to suppress, what part of their own shadow they refuse to acknowledge. This insight transforms how you hear negative comments. You see past the attack to the underlying pain. Number 9. See guilt behind false certainty, the weight beneath the bravado. There are those who exude certainty, who seem always in control, always composed. They project an aura of unwavering confidence. But watch closely. Look for the subtle tells, the clenched jaw, the rigid body, the over-preparation, the defensiveness when challenged. This type of chronic confidence can often mask deep-seated guilt, or regret, or a profound sense of not being good enough. Jung observed that we perform certainty when we are scared of being seen, when we are trying to bury something, a past mistake, an unfulfilled potential, a secret flaw, real inner peace. It doesn't need to perform. It doesn't need to convince. When someone seems too confident, too sure of everything, don't be intimidated. Be curious. Ask what burden they are carrying, what they are trying to prove, not to you, but to themselves, or to an internalized judge. This reveals the immense pressure they are under, a pressure of their own making. Number 10. Decode exaggeration as a tell. The louder the claim, the deeper the doubt. This is a subtle but potent insight. When someone uses extreme language, when they make absolute claims, I never care what anyone thinks. I am always happy. I hate all drama. Be suspicious. Jung recognized that exaggeration is often a tell. It's the ego trying to drown out doubt. It's an attempt to silence an internal dissenting voice. Extremism in any direction is rarely a sign of strength. It's often a symptom of imbalance, of internal conflict. The louder the declaration, the more likely it is that they are trying to convince themselves more than they are trying to convince you. When statements sound too absolute, don't believe the content. Listen to the volume and ask, what are they trying to silence within themselves? What doubt, what insecurity, what truth are they trying to shout down? This reveals a struggle, not a conviction. Number 11. Perceive the craving for control, an attempt to contain inner chaos. Control, we all seek it. In our lives, our careers, our relationships, but some people crave it to an obsessive degree. They micromanage every detail. They cannot tolerate change. They dominate others to feel powerful. Jung understood this dynamic. When the inner world is disordered, chaotic, the ego often tries to compensate by obsessively managing the outer world. This isn't a sign of inherent strength. It's a sign of profound inner fragility. It's a fear that if they let go, even for a moment, everything will fall apart. Not just their external circumstances, but their internal sense of self. The stricter their outer shell, the more rigid their rules, the more likely their inner self is operating on the edge of chaos. So don't fear the controlling person. See them for what they are. Someone terrified that the moment they relinquish their grip, they will be consumed by their own internal turmoil. Number 12. Interpret performance as a call for connection. The hollow core behind the show. Look around you, at social media, at daily interactions. We live in a world of constant performance, the curated identities, the perfect poses, the endless updates. Jung would see this not as strength, but as a profound form of psychological desperation. When someone is constantly performing, it's because they don't believe they will be seen, or valued, or loved without it. They feel they must earn attention, earn affection. They create noise, drama, a spectacle, not because they inherently love it, but because they cannot bear the silence, the emptiness within themselves. The person who truly knows themselves, who is connected to their self, doesn't need to be watched. They are already whole. So when someone's life looks like a perpetual show, remember this. It's not a display of power. It's often a quiet whisper of need, a plea for genuine connection, a yearning to be seen for who they are, beyond the lights, beyond the stage. You are starting to feel it, aren't you? The shift, the way the world begins to speak a different language. You walk into a room, and the patterns speak louder than words. You see the constant interruptions, and realize it's often a fear of being forgotten. You hear the endless boasting, and sense an invisible wound. This isn't just about reading others. It's about seeing the humanity in everyone. And if these insights are opening your eyes, if they are helping you decode the unseen, then consider becoming part of this journey, a journey into deeper understanding, into profound self-awareness. Subscribe now. Allow me to guide you through the labyrinth of the human psyche. Let's keep exploring. Let's keep learning together. Number 13. Listen for the voice of the complex. Pain, not pure logic, drives arguments. We often assume people are rational beings, that their arguments are based on facts, their decisions on reason. Jung held a different view. He believed that underneath every logical argument, every strongly held opinion, lies an emotional wound, a complex. A person might declare, "Love is a fantasy. It's not real." This isn't a statement of objective fact. It's a protection of pain, a defense against vulnerability. People form their worldviews based on what hurt them, on what scared them. Then they justify those views with logic. When you want to truly understand someone's perspective, don't just ask what they believe. Ask what broke them, what scared them, what they never want to feel again. This changes everything. It shifts your focus from why are they saying this to what are they afraid of repeating. Their opinions stop being threats. They become defenses. Their arguments aren't attacks. They're shields. And when you see that, you stop reacting. You start understanding. Number 14. Observe reactions to vulnerability. True strength and compassion for weakness. Want to truly gauge someone's character? Don't watch how they treat people in power. Watch how they treat those who can't fight back, or those who show weakness. Jung believed that real strength isn't proven through domination. It's revealed through restraint, through compassion, through the capacity to witness vulnerability without judgment. If someone mocks another's vulnerability, they are likely terrified of their own. If they punish mistakes relentlessly, they probably weren't allowed to make any themselves. The person who can sit with sadness without running away, who can forgive what they could have punished, that is someone who has integrated their own shadow. They have wrestled with their own demons. They don't need to prove anything. They have won the inner war. So, give people a moment where compassion is an option. Their choice in that moment will show you who they are, not just who they pretend to be. Number 15. Discern the fear of oblivion, the drive for attention as a cry for significance. Have you met someone who constantly needs to be seen? Every room they enter, every story they tell, every social media post screams, "Notice me." At first glance, it might look like narcissism or boundless confidence, but Jung saw through it. He believed that the hunger for attention often stems from a deeper fear, the fear of being invisible, of being forgotten, of living and dying without leaving a mark. People create noise, not because they inherently love it, but because they cannot bear the silence of their own insignificance. The child who is ignored can become the adult who overcompensates, and instead of directly asking for love, they demand it indirectly, through performance, through drama, through chaos. So, when you encounter someone who is too much, don't be quick to judge. Ask what they are afraid will happen. If they are not enough, because sometimes attention isn't vanity. It's a desperate cry for significance, a longing for their existence to matter. Number 16. Unmask envy as unacknowledged desire, the attack as a distorted form of admiration. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, both in others and in ourselves. People don't always attack because they hate. They often attack because they admire, but feel they can never be. Criticism can be easier than admiration. So the person who tears down someone successful, who mocks someone confident, who gossips about someone free, they aren't just cruel. They are often in pain. To see someone embody a part of you that you've abandoned or repressed is a powerful reminder of what you've lost or what you feel you can't attain. So, instead of celebrating the other, we seek to diminish them. But envy is simply unspoken desire. It steps the soul saying, "I want that too, but I don't believe I'm allowed." If you can recognize this in others, you become immune to petty hate. If you can see this in yourself, you become free to pursue your own desires, instead of attacking others for theirs. Number 17. Recognize the echoes of childhood wounds, early scripts playing out in adult life. People don't change, we often hear. Jung might say, people repeat. They repeat the roles they were forced to play, the fears they were taught to carry, the family dynamics they never escaped. A person who was never truly heard becomes someone who never truly listens. A person punished for expressing emotions becomes cold, logical, detached. A person who had to earn love continues to perform for affection, even when it's toxic. They believe they are acting from their adult beliefs, but often they are merely reenacting the past. Their complexes formed in childhood are dictating their present. So, if you want to read someone deeply, don't just look at who they are now. Ask who they had to be. What early experiences shaped their core? Because behavior is often just biography, and behind every adult, there's a child, still waiting to feel safe, still acting out old scripts, unconsciously. Number 18. Read the confessional patterns, repeated behaviors, as clues to the unconscious. This is the culmination, the ultimate key. People don't always know how to express what truly hurts, but they will show you, again and again, through their patterns. The person who ghosts when things get close, the person who overworks to avoid stillness, the person who flirts with everyone, but connects with no one. These are not random behaviors. They are confessions. They are saying, "This is how I protect myself. This is where I was hurt. This is what I fear repeating." Jung believed that if you learn to listen deeply, not to words, but to patterns, to symbols, to repetitive choices, you can hear the truth before it's ever spoken. And when you do, something transformative happens. You stop personalizing their actions. You stop judging. You start understanding. You become a mirror, not a weapon. You become someone who sees and still chooses grace. The wisdom of Jung is vast. It's an ocean of insight waiting to be explored. If you are captivated by these glimpses, if you feel the resonance of his understanding, then you will want to delve deeper. I have curated an entire playlist dedicated to Carl Jung, a collection designed to guide you further into the depths of his revolutionary psychology. The link to this Jungian playlist will be in the pinned comment below. Go there. Continue your journey. Number 19. Notice synchronicity. Meaningful coincidences as unconscious messages. Sometimes, life throws you a curveball, a seemingly random event, but it feels profoundly meaningful. Jung called this synchronicity. It's not cause and effect. It's a meaningful coincidence, and a causal connecting principle. Imagine thinking of an old friend, and moments later they call, or needing a specific book, and finding it unexpectedly at a flea market. These aren't just chance occurrences. Jung believed they are manifestations of the collective unconscious, messages from the deeper self. When you learn to notice synchronicity, you learn to listen to the subtle language of the universe, to the unconscious communicating with the conscious mind. It's a validation that there's a deeper order, a hidden connection to all things. For reading people, synchronicity can appear in how conversations naturally flow, or how certain themes recur. When you are genuinely present, these meaningful coincidences offer subtle clues to the unconscious currents at play, both within yourself and within the person you are engaging with. Number 20. Seek the individuation urge, the drive towards wholeness beneath the surface. This is Jung's ultimate goal for every human being. Individuations. It's the lifelong process of becoming one's true self, the integration of all aspects of the psyche, conscious and unconscious, persona and shadow, anima and animus. It's a journey towards psychological wholeness, not perfection, but completeness. Every person you meet is at some level engaged in this process, whether they know it or not. Their struggles, their triumphs, their defenses, their breakthroughs are all part of this larger narrative. The urge to grow, to evolve, to become more fully themselves is a fundamental human drive. When you read someone through this lens, you see their actions not as isolated events, but as movements in a grander psychological drama, a drama aimed at integrating their disparate parts, at realizing their potential. This perspective fosters immense compassion. It recognizes the heroic journey each person is on towards becoming the unique individual they were always meant to be. Now, take a quiet moment. Reflect. Every truth we have explored, it wasn't just about other people, it was about you. Your own patterns, your own fears, your own childhood scripts. Because the more clearly you see others, the more clearly you see yourself. This isn't the end of a video. It's the beginning of a new way of seeing. Jung didn't just want us to observe. He wanted us to awaken, to know that everything we judge in others is often something we carry, that everything we admire is something we long to embody. So, if this has resonated with you, if you've recognized patterns in people or in yourself, don't keep it contained. Comment right now and let me know what in this video hit you the hardest. Let's share. Let's build something honest together, in a world full of masks. And if this vision spoke to you, share this video with someone you think needs to hear this right now. This is just the beginning of learning to see what's hidden and becoming who you truly are.